Okay, so we're here for video 3 of this National Land Cover examination of the Spanish Fork watershed within Chapter 3 of the Advanced GIS textbook. This is practical application number 6. In video 3, we're going to be finding out where land cover has changed within the Spanish Fork watershed over the last 20 years. We've got nice polygon and raster visualizations of the watershed and its land cover. So there was 2024 or 2004 and 2024. But to do the comparison of difference, I think it's probably you could probably do that with the polygons, but I'm gonna show you a way to do it with the rasters. Okay, and we're going to use something called Raster Calculator. So I've turned off the polygons. We've turned back on the rasters. And now we're going to go to geoprocessing. And within there, we're going to go down to spatial analyst tools. And in here, we're going to do map algebra. Under map algebra, there's this one tool called Raster Calculator. So you could type in Raster Calculator here as well. And basically, what I want to know is where the landscape has changed, and then where it's changed from what to what. And so I want to know where it's changed and also where it's the same. I'll make this window a little bit bigger. And so the only two that I'm going to be using to rasters are up on top here, the ones that SFWA, Spanish Fork Watershed, and then 2004, 2024. Okay, so there's these tools like conditional, right? So we can use those and we can say like conditional where 2024 is not equal to 2004, we're going to give out a value of 1. So that's a change. No, let's give it a value of 2, where it is not equal. And then where it is equal, we'll call it 1. How about that? No. Let's call it 1 where it's changed and 0 where there's no change. Okay, so what this is gonna, so I've put in a conditional statement where I've compared the two, basically saying where this is equal, not equal, give me 1. If it is equal, give me 0. I could have done that the other way. I could have said where it is equal, give me 0, and where it's not, give me 1. And so I can call this raster calculator as change SF watershed 20, last 20 years. Let's see if it works. So it should get a binary look. So 0 is no change and 1 is change. And that looks about right. Okay. Good. Okay, so that's a change, areas of change. So we visualized areas of change already. And now, this is it gets a little tricky, right? Because there's different types of change across the image. But we can be creative to figure out exactly what's changed and where. So we can say now something else. So we can say conditional change is equal to, so wherever it's equal to 1, where it's changed, we can give back the information in 2024. Okay. So basically, we're just saying wherever it's 1, give me what it is today. Okay. And we'll call this changed to 2024. Okay, so then we run that. And this should give us something that looks kind of like our land cover image. But now we have to go to symbology and import from layer file. So most of what's changed has become what? It's become, we thought, shrub and scrub, right? And that appears to be visually the case, but that's not all, right? Some things actually have become evergreen forest, surprisingly, maybe. And other things like, what's this? 71, grassland. Some things have become grassland. Some things have become evergreen forest. It's not all going one way, right? So maybe that's good news. Some things have become hay, okay, etc. Okay, so that's what they are today if they changed. We could go back to Raster Calculator. We could change this up to say not what it is today, but then we could say instead what it was in the past. And we called instead say change from 2004. So what was it in 2004 in those areas of change? Yeah. Again, we have to go to symbology and import. And so we can see that a lot of the things that were changed from were forests, like we talked about before. Right? And so, but there's some other things going on, like this changed from 52 shrub and scrub to evergreen forest. So, and then this changed from evergreen forest right here to shrub and scrub. So they got some flip-flopping going on. All right. And so it's kind of interesting, right? You could track potentially every pixel, like what did it change from to what? What could you do? You could say, okay, now within this change data, wherever it was evergreen forest, what did it become? And we might get a statistical distribution, like most evergreen forest is becoming shrub and scrub. But on the other hand, we might see that, well, that's the biggest change. But we might see that smaller changes were shrub and scrub changing to something else, and those are becoming evergreen forests. So there's some balancing out there. But to do that, so what you need to do is kind of do something similar to what we've been doing. You could go into Raster Calculator. You could say conditional wherever changed from was evergreen forest. So wherever changed from 2004 equals 42, then give me what it is today. And then that'll give you like a distribution of that, those pixels and what they are. You could then convert that to a feature class and do kind of like what we did for these polygons and figure out what area has changed from that evergreen forest to the different land classes that are out there. I'm not saying that you have to do that, but we could get down into the nitty-gritty details of that. And you could do it again for what was deciduous forest and what did that change to, so on and so forth. But yeah, that you don't necessarily have to get into that detail, but it's something that you could do. You could drill down into these details. This is also something that can be visually shown with two side-by-side maps, right? It's pretty clear that many of the upland forest areas have gone to shrub and scrub. But interestingly, down in the valley areas, maybe we're seeing that there's more diverse changes. And so you could kind of talk about that. Yeah, so I think that's pretty good. So we've compared the different data to identify areas of land cover change, and what's changed from what to what. In the next one, next video, we'll try to see how we could present this in a couple of ways in a map layout. So yeah, that's video number 3, comparing national land cover data. We've identified where things changed. We found out what they were before they changed and what they are after the change. And we talked about how we can classify that and quantify that potentially, although we didn't take it that far.